Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Trustee Nathan Shan. I'm the chair of the Planning and Priorities Committee. I would like to call the meeting to order and welcome committee members, trustees, staff, members of the public. At this time, if you're able to, please stand for the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge we are hosted on the lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat. We also recognize the enduring presence of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Thank you. Next item is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder? And Trustee Laskin and Trustee McLean.
Williams.
Trustee Williams. Thank you. There is a amendment to have private right after delegation, go into private for a private update, and then come back to the rest of the meeting requested by the staff. If somebody can move that, Trustee Laskin is moving that amendment. Can I have someone to second that?
Trustee Williams.
Thanks, Trustee Williams. Any discussion on that amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment to the agenda to have private go right after delegations?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Hearing no opposition, that amendment is carried. Now, can I have a vote on the amended agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Right, that's carried. Thank you all. Trustee, you have had the chance to review the agenda and all the recommendations in the agenda. Are there any declaration of possible conflict of interest from any trustees that you wish to declare at this time? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is delegations. Delegations allow for the public to address the committee of the board and are designed to ensure that members of the public can provide information and perspective to trustees as we navigate the decision-making process. Delegates are reminded that they are to provide input in a respectful and constructive manner and should not engage in any behavior contrary to the board's code of conduct, human rights policies, or delegation procedure. We have close to 50 delegations today. Each delegate was provided with a delegation number. Each delegate will have 3 minutes to present your delegation. You will hear a bell ring when you get close to the 1 minute mark, and then we will also remind you to keep your microphones on mute. Trustees may also ask questions of clarification following each of your delegation. So once you wrap up your delegation, please stay online. Especially those online, please stay online to make sure that there are no trustees that have questions before you leave. Trustees and each trustee and the responses together will be 3 minutes. So each trustee will be allocated 3 minutes. That includes the response from the delegate for the trustees' questions as well. Okay, so with that, I am going to move into the very first delegate today. We have in person, Mohammed Hassan Iftikhar from Kenyan Pakistani Association of Scarborough. Is Mohammed Hassan Iftikhar here? Okay, so it's changed to virtual. So Mohammed, are you there? Press *6 to unmute. *6 to unmute. Mohammed Hassan Iftikhar, are you there? *6 to unmute. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, I think we can faintly hear you. Can you speak again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this is better. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself and my organization. I am here on behalf of Canadian Pakistani Association of Scarborough, CPAS. We actually registered ourselves in February 2019. We have run so many programs, including senior programs in 2020 funded by federal government. We also have successful run program, summer job programs run by federal government. COVID vaccine awareness programs runs along with CSSA funded by the City of Toronto. We also run fundraise for multi-local food bank in Scarborough. Multi-educational programs run online for youth, women, and senior empowering and extra. So we are dealing in Scarborough as a community since 2019. As I mentioned, we have run so many successful programs funded by the government. The reason we are here because why we need a Canadian Pakistani center, community center in Scarborough, because Scarborough is home to a significant population of Pakistani origin, with over 140 Muslims residing in the area. Scarborough is home to a significant portion of Toronto's Pakistani population. This is evident from the presence of Pakistani restaurants, grocery stores, and a cultural center throughout the area. Scarborough diverse neighborhoods such as Malvern, Woburn, and Morningside have substantial South Asian population, including many Pakistani Canadians. For instance, in the federal electoral district, Scarborough-Gilwood, 36.2% of residents identify as South Asians, and 2.9% report Urdu as their mother tongue. Similarly, in Scarborough Rouge Park, 35.4% identify as South Asians, with 2.1% reporting Urdu as their mother tongue. As everyone, majority of the people know, many parents are looking for Urdu tutoring and a place where their kids can connect with their culture. So I believe the center could offer languages, classes, Urdu, Punjabi, educational workshops, and tutoring services to support youth, adults, and seniors in academic and personal development. Pakistani Community Center in Scarborough would serve several important purposes. For example, cultural preservation and celebration. It would provide a space to celebrate Pakistani festivals, traditions, and cultural heritage, fostering a sense of identity and belonging for Pakistani Canadians. Social networking is another example, social support, where the newcomers and the long-term residents to connect, share resources, and build social networks, helping to combat isolation
Thank you.
and promote community.
Thank you, Mr. Iftikhar. Thank you for joining. That was 3 minutes, but please stay online. There's a question from a trustee, Trustee Laskin.
Thank you very much, through you, Mr. Chair, to the delegate. I'd like to clarify what he's asking of the board, if there's any money involved that he wants support for from the board.
From the board?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear?
From the Toronto District School Board, yeah.
So far, there is no just space, so no money, but once we will have any, what we call, when we have any space and, when we have the green signal from TDSP, so then we will start pledging the money. We have already some people who are really interested to gather some money. We have some Pakistani businessmen, developers, who already made a promise with us. They, like, let's say, one of the businessmen in Scarborough, he promised us he will give us $40,000 if in case we will get a space from the TDSP. So I think the money is not an issue. We, being by myself, I'm a businessman in Scarborough for the last 15 years. So we can raise funds. We have a big network in businesses. So basically what we want is all we need a space.
Thank you.
So can sorry, perhaps I wasn't clear. I'd like to be explicitly clear. Are you looking for space at no
Yes,
cost?
we are looking for space.
but are you looking for space at no cost?
No, we are looking for a space. So we know that, the TDSP, we have to pay.
Thank
some
you.
rent
I
and
just
stuff like
wanted
that,
clarification.
some stuff.
Appreciate that.
No,
Thank
there is nothing free in Canada.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Iftikhar, for joining. We will
No
move
problem.
on to the next delegate, Umar Farouk from Canadian Pakistani Association of Scarborough again. I think the first 20 delegates are from Scarborough, Canadian Pakistani Association of Scarborough. So Omar, are you online? *6.
He didn't show.
Oh, okay. Omar is not here. We'll move on to Amna Maroof. Amna. Is Amna online? In person, it says in person, don't see them here. No. Maroof Hussain. Maroof Hussain, I hear you are online. Can you press *6 to unmute? *6 to unmute. Maroof Hussain, are you there? Press *6 to unmute. We will go on to the next. I just want to check with governance if the other ones are on there.
Number 6 is.
Okay.
Sorry, who is this? Maroof?
Yeah, this is Maroof with you.
Okay. Maroof Hussain, go ahead. You have 3 minutes to present your delegation. Number 5, yeah.
No, okay. First of all, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Maroof, and I'm also a member of Canadian Pakistani Association of Scarborough. So I want to say few things. First of all, I want to run down that we are, the registered organization from, the association of, 2019. And then I want to say something that we are, doing lots of community things, and we are holding lots of programs to get together where we, meet on the different things about the problems and for the communities, or not only the Pakistani community. We have Canada is a diversity culture, so other communities are also coming in that program. So there we are having lots of things like, we have the social and sport networking as well, and religious and community service and youth and senior, engagement and health and wellness programs. So this is what I want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Hussain, for joining. I don't see
Thank
any
you.
trustees with questions. Thank you very much. We'll move on to number 6, Falak Sher Bhatti. *6 to unmute. Falak Sher Bhatti, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. You have 3 minutes. You go ahead and present your delegation.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank that I have got a chance to speak for my community. So I would like to say there's a growing need for Pakistani Community Center in Scarborough to provide a welcoming space for residents of Scarborough of all ages to connect and learn and have access to all the essential services in Scarborough for Pakistani community. A local Pakistani community center can offer programs that support youth development, senior engagement, newcomer integration,
and overall community well-being. It fosters social inclusion and encourages healthy lifestyles and help to build a stronger and more connected neighborhood in Scarborough for a Pakistani community. Secondly, I would like to say that I am member of Canadian Pakistani Association of Scarborough from February 2019. So during that period, we have tried to do a lot of work in Scarborough for Pakistani community, as a senior program run in 2020 funded by federal government, summer job program run by federal government, and during pandemic days, it was we helped a lot of people to get the COVID vaccine awareness programs runs along with CSSA funded by the City of Toronto, fundraise for multi-local food bank in Scarborough to help the Pakistani community all over Scarborough, and even multi-educational programs run online for youth, women, and seniors, empowering our community in Scarborough. So that was all I have to say. So we need the community center strongly to help people of Scarborough, the Pakistani people of Scarborough.
Okay.
That was all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatti, for joining. I don't see any questions from trustees, so thank you very much. We will move
Thank you. Have a great.
move on to delegate number 7, Halima Hassan. Halima, are you online? *6 to unmute. Please unmute by using *6. Halima.
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes for the delegation.
Sure. My name is Halima Hassan. Good afternoon. I am the member of Canadian Pakistani Association of Scarborough. So I will just start speaking by telling you a Canadian census data as of the 2021. There are approximately 41,705 Pakistani Canadians reside in the city of Toronto, and majority of them, you can say a significant portion, is in Scarborough. So this Pakistani community center will not only benefit like Pakistani Canadians, but also the other Muslim Canadians who live in Scarborough, and also the other South Asians who share the same language like Punjabi and Urdu. And the question is why it's important to have a community center in Scarborough. So let's start by saying that the main point is cultural preservation and celebration, because there are many festivals and traditions and people want a space to celebrate them. So I think it will provide that to them. The next thing is like social support and networking, and this community center will serve as a hub for newcomers and long-term residents, and they can share resources, they can build social networks, and it can help them combat their isolation. Thus, it can provide a place where youth can engage with each other. The community center can have different sports, arts, and programs that can engage young people in a positive way, and it will provide them with a safe and constructive outlet. And it could also facilitate access to social services, and it can provide job assistance and immigration support, and especially for the new immigrants. When new immigrants come, they need a place where they can talk and share things with their own. So basically this can provide them a place. And the next thing is it can provide a place where it can have intercultural exchange. The center could also foster greater understanding and collaboration between Pakistani Canadians and other culture groups in Scarborough, promoting inclusivity. So that's all. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hassan, for joining. At this time, I want to check if any trustees have any questions. I don't see any, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Great day.
Before I go on to delegate number 8, I just want to ask trustees who might have joined after the roll call to please identify if you're online.
Trustee Patel here, Chair. I'll be there soon.
Thank you, Trustee Patel. Anyone else?
Trustee Nunziata present, Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Nanziara.
Trustee Deovitis.
Thank you, Trustee Didaveris.
Trustee Hassan.
Thank you, Trustee Hassan. Okay, thank you all for letting us know you've joined. All right, we will move on to number 8. Jawad Mehdi. Jawad says in person here. I don't see them. No. Okay, we'll move on to Mohammed Salim. Mohammed Salim also says here as in person. Okay, we will move on to the next delegate, number 11, Usman Ali Bhatt. Also supposed to be in person, not here. Afzan Gul. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we'll move on to the next person. They're all from the same organization, so probably have representatives here anyways. Mabara Zizan. Not online? Okay, we're moving through fast. Number 14, Hafiz Ali. Hafiz Ali, not here. Mohammed Usman. So just want to check with our governance team, what is the next delegate who's online? Just so that, hey. We have number 16.
20.
Okay.
He is the next online.
Number 20 is there? Okay, we'll go through the list anyways. Number 16 to 19 was supposed to be in person. So I'm just going to check if those 4 people are here in person before I go to the next one online. Mohammed Abu Bakr. Mohammed Javed. Irfan Iqbal. And Faisal Chima. Okay, so we don't have them. So we'll move to number 20. I hear number 20 is online. Israr ul Haq Chowdhury. Are you there? *6 to unmute. Israr ul Chowdhury.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead. You have 3 minutes for the delegation.
Yeah, my name is Chaudhary Israr ul Haq, and I'm today on behalf of Canadian Pakistan Association Scarborough. And I'm over here today about the community center in Scarborough. We need one community center for Pakistan community in Scarborough, and I am member of the Canadian Pakistan Association Scarborough.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
And we have almost 150K pledges for the association. People have promised to give, and I'm businessman in Scarborough, and I have business 2 business in Scarborough, and we need the community center in Scarborough. Basically, we have a lot of Pakistani community in Scarborough, and for our kids and our family member, we need the community center.
Thank you. Sorry, we are having some difficulty hearing you. Are you wrapped up now, Mr. Chowdhury?
Yeah, yes, that's fine.
Okay. Let me check if there's any questions from trustees. I don't see any. So thank you very much for joining.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Number 21 is supposed to be in person. Irfan Ul Hassan Chowdhury. I don't see them. See them? No. Yeah, it's a different name. Irfan Ul Hassan Chowdhury. Okay, we will move on to number 22. Now, number 22 onwards, we have representatives from Pakistani Canadian Community and Cultural Center. The first on that list is Seema Zaidi, in person here. Please have a seat. Okay. So you have 3 minutes, and then if there's any follow-up questions after that, we'll have the trustees ask.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, trustees and members of the Toronto District School Board. I would like to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm a proud mother of 3 children, high school aged, in the school system. As well, I'm a board member of this organization I'm going to tell you a little bit more about. And I'm also the vice president for TD Commercial Banking. So I have a really good sense of the Toronto market, the diversity, and really the need. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak today and for welcoming our delegation. We are here to share the vision of a Pakistani Canadian Community and Culture Center, a project that was built on 3 years of planning, consultation, and deep community engagement. Our board is made up of young professionals, educators, doctors, lawyers, bankers, artists, and sports enthusiasts who proudly identify as Canadian. And we're deeply rooted in the fabric of the city. So we're committed to advancing this project that brings people together and supports students, families, and communities through an inclusive, purpose-driven space. Pakistani Canadians represent one of the fastest growing demographics in Toronto. And I'm going to skip through some of the data because you've already heard it. But really today, Pakistani Canadians make up 5% of the Greater Toronto Area's population, with strong presence in the east end of the city, particularly around Don Mills and Laird Drive, between O'Connor Drive and Eglinton Avenue. Despite their growing presence and contributions, Pakistani Canadians in Toronto do not have a central community center to call their own. Our students, parents, and educators really deserve a space to celebrate and explore their cultural identity in ways that enrich their educational journeys, strengthen the social cohesion between our communities, schools, and neighborhoods. In September 2023, we presented our plan to Toronto Lands Corporation, TLC, who have since remained engaged and supportive. As well as part of our process, we conducted a survey of over 1,000 community members. We took quite a bit of time to do this to better understand the public's priorities for this space and where to prioritize. So this feedback helped us define our 4 core pillars and vision for this center. Sports and athletic programming was one of the priorities to promote physical well-being and really for the youth engagement. Education and skills development was another, to support lifelong learning and work for readiness and skills and financial literacy programs. The third was arts and community programming, also very important to celebrate the culture and inclusion. And last was mentorship and volunteering opportunities, which is the core of bringing this program to life.
Thank you very much. That's end of 3 minutes. I know you have other representatives as well. Hopefully they can cover what's left. I don't see any trustees with questions. Trustee Klein?
Trustee Williams?
Sorry, I'll add Trustee Williams. Trustee Klein and then Trustee Williams.
Hi there. Thank you so much. Just a question. You said that you identify as 5% of the Toronto population, and you talk about this being a center celebrating Pakistani culture. Does this include Ahmadi?
Yes, it does.
Does that include the 5%?
Yes.
Are they involved in the planning of this center?
Not in the planning, but we have a good cross-representation across different segments. I would say as part of the survey we did in the community, we were very inclusive of including as many members as possible. They would certainly be part of the input from a survey perspective, which we took from.
And that included that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Klein. Trustee Williams?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Thank you so much for your delegation, Ms. Zaidi. I just had a question of clarification. You mentioned mentorship.
Yes.
Could you clarify, like just tell us a bit more about that, like what you envision, the benefits, etc.
Yeah, so I think we're like I was born and raised in Canada, and so a lot of us are, and a lot of us have immigrated here, and so I think we find ourselves in this amazing opportunity ahead of us where we can mentor newcomers to Canada, we can mentor youth through our professional networks, and really progress the whole community as a whole. We think there's a huge opportunity for newcomers specifically and for students and seniors. Those are the three segments of the population that we really want to focus on from a mentorship perspective. We also have a very thriving business and professional community, and we think there's a lot of opportunity to expand those mentorship programs to help people. It could be, upskilling from a jobs perspective. It could be financial literacy. Like, for example, right now at TD Bank, I'm kicking off a program for financial literacy for segments like this, and I would love to be a partner through my organization, the TD Bank. So I think there's just so much opportunity for mentorship.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Through the chair, that was my question, and I really appreciate the delegation.
Thank you.
Trustee Williams. We have two more questions as well, so stay there for it. Trustee Gauss and then Trustee Dawson. Trustee Gauss?
Hello, thank you, Seema. I just have a quick question of clarification. You mentioned how there was a survey that was done in the community. When was the survey done and what was asked? And
Yes.
And who was the survey issued to?
Yeah, so the survey was issued to various members of our community, and the vehicles that we used were Facebook and other social media platforms. So we used email, Facebook. We have WhatsApp chats where we kind of post this on, and it was done through a Google Forms question. The questions really were around what's important for them to see in terms of services if we were to stare down a community center and bring it to life. And we were really trying to get some data and really some feedback around the programming, and that's how we arrived at the four focus areas that we're going to focus on. We actually got some great data from that survey. One was really around the mentorship and the volunteering aspects. There is a need in this community for mentorship, and they're looking for connections to professionals, to experienced professionals from a jobs perspective, but also students are looking for mentorship as they progress their careers. And so that was one of the pillars that came to be from that survey. There were about 15 questions that were asked and about 1,000 surveys that were completed, and they were not region specific, so they were all of GTA, I would say, represented in that survey.
Thank you. And I do agree, mentorship is needed for students. And I also had another clarification question. You mentioned how this was a 3-year consultation process. Were you consulted with the board, or what was there other parts of the government that were consulted?
Yeah, so thank you so much for that question. So our consultation has gone through many levels, I would say, of government, communities, businesses. For example, in March 2023, we met with the Member of Parliament, Salma Zahid, to begin shaping this vision. In May of 2023, we presented our proposal to Acting Mayor Jennifer McKelvey, who expressed her support and encouraged further collaboration with city partners. Following that, we have collaborated with the Mayor's Office, and with their guidance, we were able to get involved with Create Toronto to explore city-owned land options for a possible cultural and community center. So those were some of the things we've done over the last 3 years. And we've also been introduced to Toronto Lands Corporation, TLC, to evaluate surplus school properties as well.
Sorry, that's time. for Trustee Gauss' question. Trustee Gauss, that's the end of your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Dawson.
Thank you. Thank you through the chair. Thank you, Seema, for your delegation. It's very informative. I was just wondering, as part of the consultation process, was CPAS consulted?
I don't believe so.
Okay, why?
If I could ask a clarifying question, what CPAS stands for? Sorry.
Sure. It's Canadian Pakistan Association of Scarborough.
Yeah, so we did not consult with them. Our view here is we were taking a much broader view than limited to Scarborough. Like, our view is we need a community center in Toronto, and even our survey and our exploration of the demands in areas, we were not just focused on a certain region, or, you know, we think like anywhere in the GTA can support the GTA's needs. And you know, we were open, we were not limited to Scarborough. I mean, there's community centers throughout the cities. There's several in GTA. And while we have members of different organizations that were part of our survey, we were looking at this much bigger than that.
Okay, so to clarify then, the consultation process was mainly the survey.
Consultation was the survey, but as part of our board, we have various members of the community and businesses that are not necessarily identified with one association.
Okay, that's helpful. And then when you say GTA, just to clarify, you're looking for a site specifically in Toronto, or are you exploring options throughout the GTA?
We're looking specifically for Toronto. Like I noted, like, you know, there is a density of the Pakistani population on the east end of the city, in those areas around Don Mills and Laird. And so, you know, we want to be nestled close to that. We don't think we have to be right in that community, but we certainly want to be accessible to that community.
Okay, and then my last question is, are the members of your board specifically from Toronto who were included in the consultation process?
Yes, they are.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Those are my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Dawson. I think that's it for a number of questions. Thank you very much, Seema Zaidi, for joining us and for your delegation.
Thank you for your time.
We will move on to the next delegate in person, Usman Basharat, also from Pakistani Canadian Community and Cultural Center. Right, so we have 3 minutes for you, and
Great,
if there
okay.
are questions
Thank
after
you.
that, we'll continue.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. I'm Usman Basharat. I'm part of the PCC board, and I also operate a nonprofit called Fit Sports. We're based out of the west end of the GTA. We've been operating for the last 5 years. We organize all kinds of sports activities for adults, youths, and seniors, like basketball, volleyball, pickleball, cricket, soccer, and softball. First of all, I want to thank you for considering our proposal for the community center, get dedicated to serving the Pakistani community in the GTA. This center will be designed as an inclusive space. One of the areas of focus and of impact will be sports and recreation. We envision a facility that offers a wide range of activities, from traditional sports like cricket, popular Canadian pastimes like basketball, volleyball, and pickleball. This will not only promote physical health and well-being, but also serve as a platform for community building, forging strong connections among families and individuals. Sports and recreation are vital tools for social integration and cultural assimilation. For newcomers, participating in team sports provides an opportunity to learn about Canadian culture, language, social norms in an enjoyable and supportive environment. This community center will facilitate meaningful interaction between Pakistani community and the broader Toronto population, fostering understanding, mutual respect. By engaging in shared activities, and individuals can break down barriers, build relationships, and create a sense of belonging within the diverse fabric of our city. The establishment of this community center will have a lasting and positive impact on both the Toronto community and the Toronto District School Board. It will contribute to healthier lifestyles, enhance social cohesion, and support successful integration for newcomers. We are committed to creating a safe, welcoming, and vibrant space that serves as valuable resource for all. We urge you to support this initiative and invest in the future of our diverse and dynamic city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Basharat. Any questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you very much for joining us and thanks for your delegation. Next delegate is Wahaj Ahmed, joining virtually. Delegate number 24. Do we have them online? Yeah. Please press *6 to unmute Wahaj Ahmed. *6 to unmute.
Hello.
Hi. We are able to hear you. Please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, trustees and members of the Toronto District School Board. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today and for welcoming our delegates. My name is Wahaj Ahmed, and I am a student of Victoria Park Collegiate Institute. I immigrated to Canada from Pakistan with my family in 2014. Like many immigrants, my journey has been filled with learning, adapting, and finding my place in a new country. Starting over meant new schools, new friends, and learning a new culture. But even as I worked to fit in, I held on to my roots, my Urdu language, my traditions, and simple joys like playing cricket, which always reminded me of home. This is why I believe a Pakistani Canadian community and a culture center is so important. A space like this helps newcomers stay connected to their identity while supporting their immigration into Canada society. It would offer programs for students and adults alike, giving families like mine a space to learn, share, and build stronger community bonds through culture, events, language classes, and sports. For me personally, I would love to get involved and volunteer my time to help teach Urdu and Punjabi to younger second and third generation Pakistani children. I also see myself getting involved in sports facility purposes as one of the core pillars of the center. In my experience, I have found sports to be integral to my engagement with the Canadian community through basketball and cricket, and has helped me build bonds with the Pakistani community. In doing so, I'm only persevering my heritage, my language, but also giving back to the Canadian community. But giving back doesn't stop there. As an immigrant, I've learned that staying connected to your roots makes you stronger, more mindful citizen. It teaches empathy, respect for diversity, and the importance of contributing to the board community. These are values that make Canada stronger too. Before I close, I would like to sincerely thank the dedicated board members, community leaders of Pakistani Canadian Community and Culture Center, who have been working tirelessly the past 3 years to make this vision a reality. Thank you to the TDSB board for your time and for supporting initiatives that build inclusion and belonging for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for joining us. Let me see if there's any questions. I don't see any. Thank you.
Dennis Hastings.
Sorry, Trustee Hastings has a question. Wahaj, please stay on. Go ahead, Trustee Hastings.
Could you explain to me, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
can hear you.
Very good. Could you explain to me that you're talking about volunteerism? Explain to me what it is you intend to do if your wish comes to fruition, please.
Sorry, Wahaj.
Repeat that one more time. I'm having a bit of trouble hearing.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can. Go ahead.
Hey, explain to me, you want to volunteer.
Yes.
And you want to volunteer in your community, is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I just wanted to know, what is it that you intend to do if your wish comes through and you've come here for a wish?
I'd definitely love to contribute by or volunteer by teaching a lot of the Canadian culture, just speaking the language, understanding it, how things work around here, how much different it is from back home, and just teach like mannerism of this place, if that makes sense.
Through you, Mr. Chair? Yes, it does. Thank you.
Trustee Hastings, thank you. And I don't see any other questions. Wahaj, Ahmad, thank you very much for joining and delegating.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Right. We are now moving on to delegate number 25, Sarah Beg, in person.
Good evening, trustees and members of the Toronto District School Board. Thank you for granting us this space to share our vision and for welcoming our delegation. My name is Sarah Beg. I'm an architect and multidisciplinary designer working at the intersection of art, culture, and community. I'm honored to serve on the board of Pakistani Canadian Community and Cultural Center, where I guide arts and culture programming. Tonight, I speak in support of this center, a project our board has been working relentlessly over 3 years. A space that will nurture not just settlement, but belonging, expression, and growth for both newcomer and long-established Pakistani families and the broader Canadian community. In my work with women and youth mentoring and initiatives, I have witnessed how creative expression becomes a lifeline, especially for youth navigating the weight of identity, racism, and the quiet struggles of being the bridge generation. When people see their stories honored, they are not just included, they are empowered to contribute meaningfully to the broader community. This is not an abstract ideal, it is reflected in the numbers. According to Community Foundations of Canada, 77% of Canadians feel arts and heritage experiences help them feel part of their local community. These connections directly combat isolation and support mental well-being. This is why arts and community programming are the very foundation of our center. From textile workshops to music, theater, and oral storytelling, our programming will preserve tradition while inviting innovation. It will connect generations and foster dialogue across cultures. Another essential pillar is education and skill development with a focused effort to support women-owned small businesses. We are in active conversations with TD Bank, thanks to our board member right here, Seema Zaidi, who presented at the opening, to offer financial literacy workshops, strengthening economic independence within our community. As a small business owner myself, I have seen the ripple effects of such empowerment. When women thrive, entire communities flourish. We are also looking to collaborate with existing arts organizations across the GTA, like Mosaic and the Canadian Community Arts Initiative, ensuring that our programs are not isolated, but connected to the larger Canadian and the larger Pakistani arts landscape. At its core, this project is an expression of Canada's multicultural spirit, not as a slogan, but as lived reality. Through family festivals, intergenerational art programs, and meaningful collaborations, we aim to create a space that celebrates diversity, nurtures dialogue, and fosters civic pride. Thank you for your time and for supporting spaces that allow everyone to feel seen and valued. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Do you have any questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you very much for taking the time. We will move on to the next delegate. Number 26 here is joining virtually, Niall Beg. Press *6 to unmute. Is it Niall Beg? Not here? Oh, here? Okay. Press *6 to unmute. You're off mute, so can you say something? We'll check. Delegate number 26, are you there? *6 to unmute. I think you're off mute now. Try saying. Yeah, we're able to hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, respected trustees and members of the Toronto District School Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Niall Baig, and I'm a proud second-generation Pakistani-Canadian high school student born and raised here in Toronto. My grandparents immigrated to Canada in the 1970s, and my father was born and raised here. Our family has called the city home ever since. My grandmother has dedicated years to early childhood education at York University's Early Learning and Care program, a true example of how immigrants contribute to building strong, caring communities. The reality for many second-generation immigrant kids, though, is a bit different. We grow up bridging two cultural worlds. Canada is home. It's where we learn, grow, and build our future. But at the same time, our Pakistani identity is part of who we are, woven into the food we share, the language we speak at home, and the traditions we celebrate with our families. Navigating these two cultural spaces can sometimes be challenging, but it also gives us a unique perspective. We learn to adapt, empathize, and bring people together. This dual identity isn't just a conflict, it's a strength. It allows us to honor our heritage while being fully engaged Canadians, enriching both communities in the process. This is why I believe the Pakistani Canadian Community and Cultural Center is not just important, it is essential. A center like this would be a place where kids like me can explore their heritage in a way that feels relevant, dynamic, and welcoming. It would be a space where traditions are not just preserved, but reimagined through art, sports, language, and community events. Imagine a place where I can coach a group of younger kids in soccer, while down the hall, others are learning classical Pakistani music or preparing for a community theater production that blends South Asian storytelling with contemporary Canadian voices. Beyond culture, it's also about mentorship and belonging. As someone who has benefited from programs like DECA and Model UN, I know the power of learning to communicate, to lead, and to represent. I want to pass those skills on, and this center would give me and others like me the platform to do just that. A place where sports programs create mentorship opportunities and bridge gaps between generations. Most importantly, a community center like this helps us stay rooted. It reminds us that being Pakistani Canadian is not about choosing one identity over the other, but about honoring both and building bridges between them. Ultimately, when youth are rooted in their identity, they become confident, more connected, and more committed citizens. They give back, not just to their own community, but to the broader Canadian society. On behalf of my peers, I thank the Toronto District School Board for giving us the space to speak, and for everyone on the Pakistani Canadian Center Board for working hard on this project for the past 3 years to bring this vision to life. The Pakistani Canadian Community and Cultural Center will not just serve one group. It will be a vibrant part of Toronto's multicultural heart, benefiting all. Thank you.
Thank you, Niall. I don't see any questions from trustees, so thank you very much for delegating.
Thank you.
Next, we move on to Mauresh Miandad, joining virtually as well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, good evening, trustees and members of the Toronto District School Board. My name is Mauresh Miandad, and I'm a proud TDSB educator who works closely with newcomers and second-generation Pakistani Canadian students. First, thank you for your continued commitment to the Pakistani Canadian Community and Cultural Center initiative. Your work over the past 3 years have laid an important foundation, and I'm here today to voice my strong support and urge that a TDSB building be allocated for this vital project. In my role, I see firsthand how newcomer students face language barriers, culture disorientation, and academic gaps. While schools offer important support, they simply can't do it all. A community center like the one proposed will fill these gaps, offering after-school tutoring, ESL support, mentorship, and culturally informed guidance, all aligned with the TDSB equity and achievement goals. South Asian students represent 23 of the TDSB with over 10,000 of the Pakistani heritage. Many are new to Canada and come from the households with limited income and few post-secondary role models. A center rooted in their lived experience can make a lasting impact. This is also about empowering families. Many immigrant parents feel disconnected from the school system. A community space could offer adult literacy, digital skills, and parenting programs, tools to help them become active partners in the children's education. I also see the quite mental health struggles many students face, challenges often hidden due to stigma in our communities. A culturally competent, trusted space could provide life-changing support. This is not just a community dream, it's an educational investment. Pakistani Canadians are one of the fastest growing communities in the GTA, raising future doctors, teachers, artists, and entrepreneurs. Supporting this proposal is a statement of inclusion, belonging, and belief in every student's potential. The initiative aligns with the TDSB community use of schools policy and vision to transform schools into inclusive, accessible hubs. Let's bring this vision to life. Thank you for your time, your ongoing commitment to building a truly inclusive Toronto. Thanks.
Thank you, Maurice Mianda. We have a trustee with a question. Please stay online. Trustee McLean.
Thank you, and through the chair. Ms. Mianda, I want to thank you for your commitment to the classroom and service to the board. I'm interested in, you alluded to mental health challenges that sometimes these newcomers are experiencing, and can you clarify how how you believe the cultural center will be able to help with that and help lessen the effect and make the transition easier?
Sorry, you were cutting out. Can you please repeat the question again?
Sure. I'm just curious about, you shared that the mental health challenges of some of the students that you had seen newcomers were experiencing either in your classroom or the schools in which you serve. And I'm interested in if you could clarify how you believe the Community and Cultural Center will be able to help with the transition and, in essence, reduce or help eliminate the mental health burdens these newcomers are experiencing.
Sure. As you know, these newcomer students, they carry this emotional weight of migration, leaving behind, their familiar environment, the new culture that they have to face, the new language barrier, the pressure to succeed, right? So definitely, I believe a community center would be a game changer because it's a safe, trusted space for them. They're not, they don't have the fear of judgment there. Also, we'll offer some counseling programs, wellness, mental health wellness program, right, within the Pakistani communities. The center can also help students feel seen, supported. They'll feel empowered to thrive, not just academically, but also emotionally. So I believe it's very important for us to have this community center so we can reach out to all Pakistani communities, students from Pakistani communities.
Thank you very much, Trustee McLean. I don't see any other trustees with question. Thank you very much, Ms. Mianda, for joining.
You're very welcome.
The next delegate is Harish Elahi in person. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Haris Elahi. I'm 14 years old, in grade 9, a proud Royal Canadian Army cadet, and a fourth-generation Canadian. Like myself, my father was born here in Canada, and I've grown up surrounded by both the values of my Pakistani heritage and the multicultural spirit of the country I call home, this country, Canada. But even with those strong roots, I've often struggled to find spaces where I can truly express all the parts of who I am, where being both Pakistani and Canadian isn't something I have to explain, but something that's naturally understood, respected, but most importantly, celebrated. That's why I believe a Pakistani Canadian Community Center is so crucially important, not just for me, but for countless others across many generations. It would be a place where we could proudly speak our languages, celebrate our traditions, and connect with others who share our culture. A place where kids like me could learn about our history, our values, and our identity, while still feeling completely at home in Canada. It would be great help to bridge the gap between where we come from and where we're going. Now, I just want to fixate on the part that I'm a Royal Canadian Army Cadet, and as a Royal Canadian Army Cadet, I've learned the values of leadership, service, and citizenship. And a community center would build on those exact same principles, offering programs in education, mentorship, cultural awareness, and social support. It would empower youth to grow into engaged citizens, proud of their roots, and ready to contribute meaningfully to Canadian society. It would also support our elders, like the youth, giving them a place to share their stories and wisdom, to teach us the lessons they carried across oceans and generations. And it would be a lifeline for new immigrants, helping them find community, connection, and a sense of belonging to their new land. Now, I want to end my speech with the words of a Nobel Prize winner, a Pakistani Nobel Prize winner, Malala Yousafzai. She once stated that we realize the importance of our voices only when we are silenced. So let's not wait for silence. Let's build a space where our voices are not just heard, but uplifted, nurtured, and celebrated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dennis
Thank you very much.
Hastings?
Questions from trustees?
Dennis Hastings?
Trustee Hastings, go ahead.
You were mentioning that you belong to you belong to a cadet group. Where's your cadet group located? It's in Scarborough? Is it in Toronto? I'm curious.
Okay, well, it's located in Toronto. It's George Vanier. That's the school we parade in. I'm part of the 337 Queens Park Rangers Army Cadet Corps.
Ah, thank you very much. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Trustee Hastings. Any other trustees with questions? Okay, seeing no other trustees, thank you very much for your delegation.
Thank you.
Haris. Next is Nadia Elahi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadia Elahi. I'm 10 years old in grade 5. I am a student ambassador for Right to Play Canada, which encourages sports and education in girls and youth. I'm also proud to say I'm ranked second in Canada for squash in my age group. As a proud Canadian of Pakistani origin, I'm here to support the vision of creating a Pakistani Canadian Community Center, a space where culture, connection, and opportunity can thrive. One day, I hope to be the best in the world at squash, but I also want to stay connected to my roots, my family, and my community. Nelson Mandela once said, "Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does." I've seen that power in my own life, through sport, through education, and through the strength of my community. I have been given many opportunities in my life, and a center like this will be a home for those values, giving young people a place to belong, to grow, and to dream. Thank you for standing with us. Let's make this vision a reality.
Thank you, Nadia. Did you say you're 10-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't usually add my commentary after delegation, but I have to for this. Thank you very much for your leadership in coming here and delegating. I don't see any questions, but thank you. All right, so we have the next delegate is number 30, joining virtually, the Honorable Salma Zahid, Member of Parliament from Scarborough Centre, Don Valley East. MP Zahid, are you online? *6 to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you, MP Zahid. Please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, trustees. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Salma Zahid. I am the incoming Member of Parliament for Scarborough Centre, Don Valley East. And as MP since 2015, I have had the privilege to represent a strong and a proud Pakistani Canadian community. There are over 162,000 people of Pakistani origin living in the city of Toronto. with another 16,000 nearby in Durham and 7,000 in Markham. There is a large community, including many young people and seniors living on the east side of the GTA. I'm a Canadian of Pakistani origin. Like many Canadians who have come here from elsewhere in the world, we have chosen to make Toronto and Canada our home because it is a place where with hard work, you can provide a better future and more opportunities for your next generations. I'm here today to ask for your support to help create a community center for the Pakistani Canadian community of Eastern Toronto. We have already seen how similar initiatives have made a difference for other communities such as Tamil Canadians, Filipino Canadians. These centers have become sources of pride in their culture and in their traditions. As newcomers, as we integrate and succeed in Canadian society, it is important that we also keep in touch with our heritage, our traditions, and of course, our culture. We have seen with other communities how these centers have helped their pride in their culture and in their traditions to thrive, especially as the young people learn more about where they are from. More than just opportunities for cultural awareness, a Pakistani community center would be particularly meaningful for our youth, allowing them to access after-school activities and programs and provide them meaningful opportunities for social engagement that would steer them away from other more negative influences. As well, the involvement of seniors in these initiatives is particularly important. In addition to providing them with programming and opportunities for social engagement, the opportunity for them to get to know the youth and share their experience and knowledge would be quite powerful. In short, your support of a community center for the Pakistani Canadian community would be a tremendous opportunity for this growing community to continue to grow, to thrive, and to integrate into the greater community while celebrating its traditions and empowering our youth. Thank you for your consideration and looking forward to your support.
Thank you very much, MP Salma Saeed, for joining and also patiently waiting to delegate. As you asked, we are also looking forward to your support as well. On number of
No,
issues.
I am ready to work with the federal government. We have already been doing many conversations, and I look forward to working with all levels of government to make this dream a reality.
Thank you very much, MP Saeed. I have Trustee Klein with a question. Just stay on the line.
No, thank you. I just was going to, Chair, ask about federal involvement, federal funding.
Okay. Yeah, my question was also very broadly asked in purpose because there are other things we've sent a letter to the Prime Minister as well, but we'll talk about that later. But thank you very much, MP Saeed, for your delegation. Yeah, go ahead.
No, looking forward to working. I'm looking forward as member of the Parliament. We're looking forward to working with you.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that concludes all the delegates on this. Number 31 is not coming, I heard, right? Governance staff So we have wrapped up the delegations for that item. We move on to the next item of delegations. Trustees who joined, please let us know if you've joined. Yeah.
Trustees online, please let us know if you're present after the roll call. Trustee Lee? Trustee Sriskandaraja, Trustee Rajakulasingham.
I'm here, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rajakulasingham. We do have quorum, right?
Chair, James Lee is here as well.
Thank you, Trustee Lee.
Hassan is here as well.
Thank you, Trustee Hassan. Trustees.
Hastings is still here.
Thank you, Trustee Hastings. Trustee Sriskandaraja. All right. So now we are at delegate number 32, Caroline Olson from Neighbors of Erskine Avenue and Elvina Gardens. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm here representing some of my neighbors tonight. A few others are speaking as well. We would like to oppose the boundary change for our neighborhood for North Toronto Collegiate Institute to Northern Secondary School for the upper block or block 1, which is south of Blythewood, north of Broadway Avenue, east of Mount Pleasant, and west of Mount Hope Cemetery. I call it pretty much a postage stamp when we look at all of Toronto. So it's just a few homes that we're asking to be carved out the whole block 1. So while I understand the Toronto District School Board is working to manage enrollment pressures, I believe this proposed shift is not in the best interest of the affected students, families, and the broader community. With the changes, Northern Secondary is proposed to be at overcapacity at 116% in 2025 and will be overcapacity for the next 10 years. This will have reported strain on its classrooms, facilities, and staff. While North Toronto Collegiate is expected to be under capacity for the next 10 years with the proposed boundary change. North Toronto Collegiate underwent a major modernization for 2003 to 2011, so leaving it underutilized. It's just sort of disappointing for the families that have bought into the area to go to that school. Northern Secondary was recently described as a brick building whose exterior has a crumbling core. Jessica Miklos, the co-chair of Northern Secondary School Council in February 2025, called its condition ridiculously bad. The facility condition index is 96.6%, which means the repairs that the school needs essentially equals the cost to replace the whole school. So we think it would be better if we bring the school up to a better standard before we push so many students there that it's over capacity for the next 10 years. Some of the issues that it has is 2 of the 3 boilers that heat the school are broken. Many of the windows aren't sealed properly. There's visible holes in the roof. In the warmer months, some students have gotten sick from the heat. It'd be very disruptive to put the school over capacity and then have to do these major repairs. Also, many students in the affected area have grown up attending North Collegiate aligned feeder schools. So forcing them to transition to a different high school after elementary and middle school can be psychologically and socially disruptive. North Toronto Collegiate, the families have moved specifically into our block 1 so that their kids have access to the specific academic and music and extracurricular programs. Northern Secondary is a great school, but not a fit for all students. I urge the Toronto District School Board to reconsider the Block 1 change and preserve the current boundary to ensure student stability, educational quality, and the integrity of long-term planning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any trustees with questions? Trustee Laskin?
Thank you very much. Through you, Mr. Chair, to the delegate. Were you at the consultation meeting? I just wanted clarity.
Myself?
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it after the fact.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any more trustees with questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for joining and for your delegation.
Thank you.
We are moving on to number 33. Farhad Morshadi Zadeh
He is not.
from North Toronto Collegiate Institute. Not here. Right. Don't see them. We will move on to the next delegate, also from North Toronto Collegiate Institute, Rashek Awal. Not here too, Rashek. Delegate number 34 here. It says virtual. No, sorry. Or star 6 to unmute if you're there. Number 30, delegate number 34, star 6 to unmute. Just waiting to get confirmation from governance staff to see if they're there, not here. Okay, we will move on to delegate number 35. Alexandra will be Rose Park Drive resident, also joining virtually. Delegate number 35, if you're there, press *6 to unmute.
Thank you, I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead. We can hear you. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm here also to speak to the issue of the boundary changes for North Toronto and Northern, specifically the proposal regarding the redirection of students from North Toronto to Northern. We are residents of what has been called Block 2, and we oppose the change redirecting students in Block 2 and removing the option to attend North Toronto. So similar to what Caroline Olson had spoken earlier about for Block 1, we are making a similar request for Block 2, which is also a very small portion of the attendance area. And this is what we are requesting. Our first choice would be that all students in Block 2 should continue to have the option to attend North Toronto. Second choice is that all students in Block 2 who live west of Mount Pleasant should continue to have the option to attend North Toronto. And our third choice is that all siblings of former students of North Toronto should continue to have the option to attend North Toronto. And I will explain why. Personally, we have 4 children. The fourth would want to attend North Toronto like his siblings, friends, and neighbors. And we recognize that there is a proposed exception for some siblings, but that only applies to current students who are very close in age, with both siblings attending the same school at the same time. So this would exclude many families with multiple children and younger siblings from attending the same school as their older siblings if there is an age gap. So that's our first concern, that there's an exclusion for siblings in the same family where previous siblings have gone to North Toronto. In addition to the exclusion of siblings, we have carefully reviewed the reasons provided regarding the change for Block 2, and they simply do not make sense. I did attend the meeting on March 27th, and the rationale given there was that it would be unsafe for students to cross Mount Pleasant to go to Northern. We actually live west of Mount Pleasant, so in fact, the students in Block 2 would have to cross Mount Pleasant to get to Northern. If this is actually the rationale, then the students who live west of Mount Pleasant should continue to be able to attend North Toronto. North Toronto is located west of Mount Pleasant. Even for the students in Block 2 who do not live west of Mount Pleasant, there's no information that suggests that supports the redirection from North Toronto to Northern. There's only a handful of students, approximately 20 to 30 students per year in both Blocks 1 and 2. And as Caroline had mentioned earlier, North Toronto would remain under capacity, and Northern is currently over capacity and would remain over capacity even with the proposed redirection. So there simply is no support for redirecting this very small number of students from Block 2 and removing their option to attend North Toronto.
Thank you very much for your delegation. I don't see any questions from any trustees. Thank you for your time and your input.
Thank you.
Next delegate is number 36, Emma Ying. Emma Ying, *6 to unmute, and please go ahead to speak. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I had to join late because of a toddler dinner tantrum. So pardon my, I hope there's no repetition. So I am a community member and alumni of North Toronto. And just for a bit of background, I attended North Toronto, had a fantastic time. And when we recently bought last year, it had a huge impact on the neighborhood I wanted to move into. And I understand with city planning, things change. So I'm kind of trying to balance everyone's objectives. Obviously, we can only have so much capacity overflow before quality diminishes. And I understand that Northern's a great option and alternative. But just speaking, I'm sure on behalf of other families who made an intentional decision to buy in our neighborhood, I wanted to see whether the grandfathering clause could be amended a little bit from what is currently proposed at. So on the community meeting that was held, I believe the analyst told us that it was projected that only 30 students would be currently funneled from the existing boundaries. So essentially the houses in the area per year. The majority of the stress of the new capacity would be from the new condos. And I believe that number was about 500 new students diverted from North Toronto to Northern. So I was just doing the math from the deck that was shared with us. Post the current changes, Northern would actually be at capacity, over capacity at about 104%, while North Toronto would be slightly below capacity at 94%. So doing the math of 30 students funneled in from the current existing grandfathered class, if you will, it doesn't seem like it would actually push the numbers in an absurd way. It actually helps counterbalance the amount. Northern would be closer to 100, and then North Toronto would be closer to 100. And then I know that the TSB has zero control over property values or taxes and just how human nature works. The people definitely place a premium, and they paid for the area that they want their kids to be going to school in. So if there is any way to compromise, which I think this situation allows, it just seems like a good compromise. Like, why won't we let the 30 students per year exist as is under grandfathering, and then that'll diminish as, you know, the next 5 to 10 years happens. And then it seems like both parties would be appeased. I would understand if the pressure was simply too hot and, you know, it was like 120% capacity at North Toronto, but it's not. So it seems like there's a perfect situation where we can kind of balance the enrollment rates and then not have the families feel like their rights have been stripped away, the ones who have already purchased. So that's kind of my case. I hope you guys take into consideration. I know I'm fortunate to be able to even have this choice. This area is lovely and both schools are great. But just personally from experience, I did want my kid to go to NT as an alumni, and absolutely no bashing on Northern. It's just something that I value personally. So thank
the
you.
time limit we have, Emma Ying. So thank you very much for your delegation. Let me see if there are any questions from trustees. I don't see any questions. So thank you for your delegation, Emma Ying.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next delegate is on the same topic as well, Mark Rushin, TDSB parent.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair and trustees, for taking the time to hear me today. And also I just want to thank everyone that I've emailed and talked to over the past few months, in particular, Cassandra Alviani Alvarez and Charlie Laskin, Daniel Stoik, one of the planners. I really appreciate everyone taking time to listen patiently to my concerns and answering my questions as best everyone can. So yes, my name is Mark Rushin. I'm a community member. I live on Key Wotton, so I'm in the North Block in question. We moved here around 2012, just before my son was born, with full knowledge of what the school situation was, which I'll get to in a minute. I agree with what the points that were just mentioned before, but I'm going to be speaking more as a concerned parent here, who we were all expecting our son to go to North Toronto in 2026. And he doesn't happen to have an older sibling, so that clause doesn't apply. So he's going to be one of the few unfortunate ones. And if the total was 30, those with siblings would probably bring the total down to maybe 10 to 15 students being affected who are and being separated now from his peers starting in 2026. That includes peers who live on our very street, who just and adjacent streets. who just happen to have older siblings, and so they're grandfathered in. This disruption, and I'm not understating this in any way, is immense for us. It's far greater than any kind of disruption due to having an older sibling at one school and a younger sibling at another school. This is about, and I want this to be on the record, this is all about mental health and social well-being of the students. It's well understood that mental health and social well-being are linked and are vital to academic success. There's hundreds of peer-reviewed publications on this topic. I've done a lot of searching on that, and I can quote you a few over the past years, and any psychologist would agree with me, I think, on that point. There's even a meta-analysis that was done in 2023, which looked at a bunch of studies all over the world and saw strong correlations between social well-being, peer groups, and academic performance. And that's really what this is all about to me. My son has grown up in this community. All of his peers are attending in North Toronto. He will not. That was a major decision for us to move here, and we don't have time, frankly, by 2026 to pivot or do anything about it. He's a musician. He's musical. He plays in the school bands and was looking forward to the music program at Northern. That's now off the table. He plays basketball with his friends every day after school, and now they're not going to be going to the same school. He's in tears every night. I just want to stress this is a major disruption, and in addition to the disruption caused by different schools and older sibling preference, I would like this to be considered as an exemption as well. Mental health status. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mark, for your delegation. Trustees, any questions for Mark? Trustees online, any questions for Mark? Seeing and hearing none. Thank you, Mark, for your delegation.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Delegate number 38. It's Matt Switzer, James from Bell Sports and Wellness Academy. Press star 6.
No,
Hi, Matt.
they're not. Hi, Trustee. Trustee. They're not.
It's not there. Okay. And I believe delegate number 34 is present. Am I correct? I think it's Rashik Awal from North Toronto Collegiate Institute. Hi, Rashik. Is he online? Can you press star 6, Rashik?
Hello, can you guys hear me? This is
Yes,
hi,
we can
this
hear
is
you now.
Rashak Awal. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Hi,
can. Go
sorry,
ahead.
it was must be some technical difficulties. I was hearing the whole conversation, and I echo with Caroline, Alexandra, Emma, Mark, and few others. They mostly covered most of the items, so I don't want to repeat all those points. But it is the mental health that I would just echo with few other parents. Almost night we see this. What they grew up with for last 12 years of the academia perspective and from the property value perspective and other points, all other members they already covered. So I just wanted to just cover the mental part broadly because it is really, really affecting. We did not expect, like you said, it's just handful number of properties over here with a handful number of kids. So would really appreciate if TD take consideration for these few kids over here in this neighborhood. Just cover them broadly. Yeah.
Hi, Rashik.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry. The mental health part, what I was trying to.
We cannot hear you, Rashik. We're losing you.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
You have to turn
Hello?
your volume down. I think your volume is on at the background.
Can
I
you
think
guys
you are
hear
listening
me?
to your-
Hello?
Yes, Rashik.
Yes, I'm here.
You
Hello?
have to turn down the volume of the devices you are listening your delegations from.
I can hear you guys properly.
Yes, we can hear you too, but you have your background noise, which is causing troubles for us. Go ahead.
Oh, I apologize. Can you guys hear me okay now so that I can
Yes.
speak? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I think there was a question regarding to the mental health. It's nothing when the other friends, they talk about that we are going to not Toronto Collegiate, but you are going to be separated to the Northern Secondary. That is a part that, like I mentioned, that she's in grade 7. It's been 7 years, and of course, 1 more year left. And the part that they're not going to be together, that's the part. And it's just in her class, she's coming from Bedford Park. It's just, as far as I know, we see only 2 people over here. So that's that it is a really big deal for my kid that we expected to assign her in collegiate, but unfortunately, this boundary restriction is mental health. That is all I have to say at this moment now.
Thank you, Rashik, for your delegation. Trustees, any questions for Rashik? Seeing, hearing none. Thank you, Rashik, for your delegation. We'll move to
Thank
delegation
you, and I
number
apologize for
39.
the technical difficulties.
Thank you. Delegation number 39 is Peter Flaherty from Faculty of Education, York University.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Peter. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Peter Flaherty, and I'm a course director in the Faculty of Education at York University. I currently teach courses in many subjects, including one on human rights and international law. At the outset, I would like to make it clear that my remarks reflect my own personal perspective only and should not be viewed as a position of the academic institution with which I am affiliated. I would first like to commend the TDSB for this report, which addresses many important human rights issues within its remit and how they impact students, teachers, parents, caregivers, administrators, teaching staff. In addition, I intend to include this report in the curriculum for the human rights course I will be teaching next term. It is what my teacher candidates should be familiar with as they begin their careers as educators. While the report has many merits, in my view, there is one significant omission that I believe should be addressed and remedied. This relates to its failure to refer specifically to anti-Palestinian racism, or APR, as a major human issue in TDSB schools today. The Arab Canadian Association, ACLA, has provided a useful definition of this term, which I think the TDSB should consider in any future revision of the human rights report. It also addresses the issue of how the TDSB institutions have at times ignored or erased Palestinian perspective on issues such as time. I ask trustees to refer to if they have not already done so. Although the ACLA document was released prior to the events of October 7th, 2023, I think that if anything, its definition of APR is even more relevant to the experiences of students of Palestinian, Middle Eastern, or Arab backgrounds in the TDSB schools of today. After October 7th, I engaged with my students at York on the Israel-Palestine issue and have assisted them in developing strategies for addressing effectively in their teaching practica in schools. I have been concerned that some of my TCs informed me that they have from raising class, frequently the opportunity to discuss in this is actual TDS. But in many cases, it appears that individual school administrators are actively working to restrict, if not completely prevent, any engagement with this important issue. To me, this is very unfortunate, and I'm speaking as a teacher, since it represents a big teachable moment, one that students and teachers should have the opportunity to investigate.
Thank
it
you.
Also
the
ACLA definition. Am I out of time?
That's the end of the 3 minutes, but let me see if any trustees have questions for you.
I just had one more short paragraph.
Short paragraph? No, I don't. It's 3 minutes, so I just need to be a bit consistent with that.
Okay, I was just going to relate it to the ACLA document.
I think Trustee Hastings has a question. Go
Please,
ahead.
what I missed that last part. Could you go over it again and let me have it?
Sorry, what is last, Trustee Hastings, what is your clarification question?
That is a clarification question. Without that last piece, I don't understand what he's saying. So can we have it?
So go ahead.
You're almost finished.
Go ahead, Peter. Just the last part you were mentioning, if there's any clarification on that Trustee Hastings didn't understand.
Well, I was talking about how the teacher candidates I teach at York have sometimes been discouraged, if not actually prevented, from raising this issue in the schools they're doing their practica in. I said I didn't know if that was TDSB policy, but there were some administrators that were trying to prevent this discussion from taking place. And to me, this seems like an unfortunate thing because it's such a valuable teachable moment for students and teachers to investigate and engage with in the appropriate way. It also seems to fit the ACLA definition of anti-Palestinian racism because it could be seen as a form of erasure of Palestinian experiences, history, and perspective. That many students of these backgrounds within the TDSB carry with them as valued parts of their ethno-cultural identity. This is very regrettable in my view, and I hope that their voices are deserved to be included and validated in the TDSB school.
That's helpful. Thank you. I don't see any other questions. Peter Flaherty, thank you very much for joining.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
The next delegate is delegate number 40, Katie Gowan, from a parent in person.
Thank you. Hello, trustees and staff. I'm here as a proud mother to Palestinian children in the TDSB. And while I don't work in human rights, I am a fierce advocate and believer that human rights are for all. Last year, I delegated and asked for acknowledgement of my family's existence, and I hoped that the TDSB would recognize the erasure and harm many Palestinians face. Yet a year later, the annual Human Rights Report is silent on Palestinians again. Since last year, the TDSB has continued their harm and erasure of Palestinians, whether through the apology and investigation of a field trip to the unexplained disappearance of the rooted curriculum, or in the double standard where processes require further scrutiny when Palestine is mentioned, known as the Palestine exception. The student census noted in the report included Palestinians, but where are they reflected in this report? Palestinians remain invisible in every policy update, every metric of harm, every commitment to transformation that the Human Rights Office speaks of. The report generates data based on a racism, bias, and hate, or RBH portal, that does not list anti-Palestinian racism, or APR, despite being added to the Combating Hate Strategy last year. This erasure remains even as multiple reports from the provincial investigation into field trips to the Palestinian-Canadian Congress APR report and Labor for Palestine's report of school delegations, reaffirm that erasure in harm in schools is present. Students expressing their solidarity are politicized, while the systemic discrimination they face is dismissed as opinion. But today's agenda isn't about politics. It's about policy and human rights. And this policy is silent on its reflection of harm. The Human Rights Office is mandated to uphold the values of inclusion, transformation, and equity, even when the communities harmed are not explicitly listed in current frameworks. The obligation doesn't just disappear because Palestinians don't fit into the categories. So today I ask you again, respectfully but urgently, to do better. It's time for APR to be named on the RBH portal and for the recommendations from Patrick Case's investigations to be implemented so that the TDSB receives mandatory training to recognize and respond to both anti-Palestinian racism and anti-Semitism. Students and staff need more than promises. They need recognition, they need protection. We need your policies to mean something for all children, including mine. Thank you.
Thank you for your delegation. I'm just going to check if there are trustees who have questions. Seeing none, thank you very much for taking
Thank you.
time. Next, we move on to Tyler Delmore, TDSP parent, joining virtually. Delegate number 41, please press *6 to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead.
Thanks. I am the parent of an elementary schooler in Ward 9, and I was motivated to speak today after reading the HRO report. It includes that it routinely procedures in order to track distinctions. The issue is that I don't see significant evidence of procedure or methods review from last Friday, specifically in terms of its data on racism, bias, and hate. This is a problem because systemic biases exist in social research and affect data gathering. For example, biases in groups' experiences to be underreported. Likewise, we know that some groups can have their distinct circumstances mistakenly conflated with those of other groups, thereby finding themselves absent from an. This is not an academic point. How the TDSB's failure to recognize groups' distinct claims have led to confusion and failures to appropriately address conflicts. Take the case of last year's Grassy Narrows River Run and how the TDSB's response was affected by its institutional neglect of Palestine and Palestinians. I, along with thousands of others, attended the event. The goal had been to acknowledge the need for remediating the Grassy Narrows people after 20,000 pounds of mercury were dumped into their river system. But as you'll know, acknowledging the Grassy Narrows cause was quickly swept aside. Right-wing sources circulated that the event was hijacked by Palestine demonstrators. And the TDSB itself immediately apologized for student participation. It even abandoned a planned collaboration on a major truth and reconciliation event. But we now have a government-ordered report. The investigator, Patrick Case, here. He condemns the media's fabrications, and he advises that the TDSB acted on exaggerations and without due diligence. Most importantly, he tells us why. As he describes, when Palestinians express aspirations for freedom, their expressions are seen as controversial. It's even, quote, controversial when Palestinians or anyone else appeal for an end to Israel's bombardment of Gaza. And as Case tells us, because of this attitude, institutions like the TDSB tend to opt for erasure, avoiding the topic of Palestine and Palestinians entirely. Bringing this around, Case's report should directly inform the HRO and a review of procedural limitations. One, Case implicates the TDSB itself in the differential treatment of Palestinians. Two, he makes clear that Palestinians mark a real difference that cannot be simply conflated with, say, Islam or the Middle East. As a last note, meeting the historical moment requires the HRO expand its procedures and ask, where needed, for direction on including revised categories. Here, consider that the erasure of Palestine from the public sphere in Toronto mirrors the erasure of land and human beings taking place in Gaza as we speak.
Thank you. Any trustees with questions? No trustees online with questions as well. Thank you very much, Tyler Delmore, for joining. We move on to Jenny Stimac, virtual again, Independent Jewish Voices, Toronto and York Region. Jenny, are you online? *6 to unmute.
Yes, I am. I'm here. Can you hear
Please.
me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead.
Jenny Steinmetz, a retired TDSB educator. I'm here today to report. I speak as a Jewish educator,
Sorry,
parent.
through the chair, sorry, point of personal privilege. It keeps cutting out online. I noticed with the previous speaker, but it's happening now with the speaker as well. So it might be something with the audio. Apologies.
Thank you, Trustee Dawson. Somewhat the same in the boardroom as well. So can we reset the time, and Jenny Steinmack, can you please restart, and we'll see how it goes. And please speak up a little bit maybe as well.
Okay. Does it matter if my phone is on speakerphone?
Possibly. Are you on a speakerphone?
Yes.
Okay.
So I could hear you. Should I take it off in some way?
Yeah, you can try. Once your 3 minutes starts, I won't interrupt until the 3 minutes is done. So please go ahead. I think we heard you okay when you were speaking last. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll try again. Good evening. I'm Jenny Steinmack, a retired TDSB educator, today to speak to you about your new human rights report. I speak as a Jewish educator, parent, grandparent, and member of Independent Jewish Voices. I'm here to ask TDSB to prioritize Palestinian human rights. My adult children, now in their 50s, attended and graduated from TDSB schools. So I've long been part of this community as a parent as well as an educator. Pleased that my daughter found a teacher in high school who be as a Jew at the same time as exploring difficult issues of racism and inequality such as Caribbean history. Human rights are meant to be universal. No protected grounds left out. This means that in today's world, human rights must include Palestinian rights. I say this as a veteran teacher, as a Jew whose grandparents emigrated from Ukraine in the 1900s to escape pogroms and lost multiple members of their families in the Holocaust, and as a human who firmly believes that we can restructure our unequal society so that we truly have human rights for all. To do this, we need to honestly come to terms with and heal from our past histories of dehumanization and genocides, and to stop an ongoing genocide, the Palestinian Nakba. The board should be commended for centering their human rights work around the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's report and its calls to action. Societies need to come to terms with pasts of genocide. This is healthy. Canadian society is haltingly doing that. We need to apply the same lessons to Palestine. In reading over the report, I noticed that anti-Palestinian racism is not a category for reporting through the board's racism, bias, and hatred portal. This is an example of the silencing and erasure of Palestinians. I asked the board to add anti-Palestinian racism as a reporting category to the RBH portal. For the past year and a half, we have witnessed cruel war crimes being carried out by the Israeli state and military against the people of Gaza. We are now seeing enforced starvation used as an instrument of ethnic cleansing and genocide. It is unreasonable that this report, written during this exact period, does not include or allude to Palestinian human rights at all. This does not make me safer as a Jew. It does not make any Jew including Israeli Jews, safer. Must be universal. There cannot be exceptions.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to the next delegate. Michelle Monk, TDSB employee. Go ahead.
Thank you. Dear trustees and staff, I am a math teacher and a parent of TDSB students. My Jewish values and my commitment to equity compel me to respond to the human rights transgressions that are occurring in the board. As a math teacher, I understand the importance of robust data collection. Last year, the board acknowledged the existence of anti-Palestinian racism in the TDSB, but a year later, anti-Palestinian racism has still not been added to the racism, bias, and hate portal. This gives the impression that there is no anti-Palestinian racism in the TDSB. By acknowledging harm and then doing nothing to stop it, the board is failing to protect its members. The erasure of Palestinians in the board is also reflected in Ministry Investigator Patrick Case's recent report. Case states, quote, "There is a human rights-based erasure of the Palestinians' existence in and outside of schools. If voices are raised in support of Palestinian human rights, there are attempts to shut them down. There is a culture of fear throughout the TDSB related to this erasure of Palestinian existence. Principals and teachers are afraid to say or do the wrong thing for fear of repercussion. There has been a notable silence in classrooms with respect to the war in the Middle East. This war affects many of TDSB's students, Jewish and Palestinian alike. Being silent on the matter suppresses students' lived experience and causes harm," end quote. Teachers and administrators are afraid that if they discuss the war or Israel or Palestine, they will be labeled anti-Semitic. This culture of fear has arisen from the board's lack of leadership on what anti-Semitism is and what it is not. According to the Ontario Human Rights Code, criticism of Israel, a country, or Zionism, a political ideology, is not anti-Semitic. Furthermore, the conflation of criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism endangers Jews because it puts Jews at risk when the state of Israel causes harm. People who do not understand this distinction might express their anger at the state of Israel by targeting Jews. Celebrating Palestinian culture is also not anti-Semitic. If in my math class, I use an example of the Palestinian embroidery tatriz to teach patterning and algebra, this is absolutely not anti-Semitic. This is culturally relevant and responsive pedagogy. As Case's report makes clear, the fear of reprisal leads to the erasure of Palestinian identity within our board. This erasure is what is causing harm. Let's make a clear distinction between being uncomfortable and being unsafe. Might someone feel uncomfortable when they see a Palestinian flag or keffiyeh? Yes. In fact, discomfort is an important step in the learning process. If we're always comfortable, then we're not learning. But is the person who is witnessing a Palestinian cultural symbol unsafe? No, they are not. In order for the TDSB to meet its stated commitment to human rights, TDSB leadership needs to ensure the following. 1, anti-Palestinian racism must be added to the RBH portal. 2, the anti-Semitism strategy must include meaningful consultation with diverse staff members. 3, clear guidelines must be given to staff about what is and what is not anti-Semitism so teachers can support a climate of understanding and mutual respect for all. Let's work together to create spaces where we honor and respect everyone's humanity, where students can learn together and challenge the polarization happening around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. That was a few minutes over time. Let me see if any trustees have any questions. Trustee Dawson.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your delegation. I was wondering if you could just clarify your point on what is uncomfortable versus unsafe. Can you give another example of that?
Sure. I think we feel if I witness something that I feel is If I am learning something new, let's say in math, if I'm learning a new math idea, when I'm not understanding it, I will feel uncomfortable. I will feel, my stomach will feel knots and I will feel stressed. And that's okay. That's part of the learning process. And I think one of the problems right now is people are confusing and conflating that feeling of discomfort with that feeling of being unsafe. If I see something that is counter to my worldview or my paradigm, it will challenge me. And I think I need to be in that discomfort in order to really learn and grow and understand. And if I just want to stay in my safe zone, I will not learn.
Okay, thank you very much. That's helpful. Those are my questions, or that's my question.
Thank you, Trustee Dawson. Any other questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to delegate number 44, Ben Lossman, TDSP parent.
Check, check. Ready. As a Jewish TDSP parent, I commend the board for its stated commitment to human rights framework that centers the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action, the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and equity. I'm also heartened to see the board recognize delayed dreams as a clarion call to action for addressing anti-Black racism. All of this indicates that the board seeks to approach human rights from an intersectional, anti-colonial, and anti-oppressive framework, necessary not only for protecting the health and well-being of BIPOC students, but also of Ashkenazi Jewish ones like my own children. To paraphrase Fannie Lou Hamer, none of us are safe until all of us are safe. However, I have concerns about this report as well as the state of human rights across the board. For one thing, the report does not name or track anti-Palestinian racism or APR. This is despite APR being named in the anti-hate strategy and Patrick Case stating in the Grassy Narrows report that, quote, there is human rights-based erasure of the Palestinians' existence in and outside of schools. I'm also concerned that the presence of pro-Israel groups in the TDSB makes it impossible for the board to achieve its upholding of the human rights of all TDSB members. The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center, and the United Jewish Appeal all advanced a weaponized version of anti-Semitism that treats criticism of Israel and demands for Palestinian human rights as being automatically and inherently anti-Semitic. They advocate for the Israeli government as it engages in what Human Rights Watch and other human rights institutions have decried as genocide, ethnic cleansing, war crimes, deliberate mass starvation, and gross human rights violations. They have targeted TDSB students directly, such as when CJA insisted that pro-Palestinian Marc Garneau students were chanting Judah, Judah instead of Trudeau, Trudeau, or when Friends of Simon Wiesenthal employees revealed that they were instructed by their employer to track and report criticism of Israel in classrooms. This is blatant APR. When anti-Semitism is weaponized to attack calls for Palestinian human rights, the victims are not only Palestinian. At the February Planning and Priorities Committee meeting, we heard delegates decrying not only anti-APR efforts, but also diversity, equity, and inclusion as a concept as being fundamentally, quote, woke and therefore anti-Semitic. To understand the potential effects of this distorted logic, one only has to look at the US, where anti-DEI and anti-woke arguments and weaponized anti-Semitism are being used to ban books, disappear students off the streets, attack teachers and unions, dismantle democratic mechanisms inside and outside of the education system, and enable the rise of fascism. We can't let this happen at the TDSB. I call on the board to center Palestinian students in its human rights framework and end its collaborations with groups that engage in APR.
Thank you. Trustees with questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. Next delegate is delegate number 45, Iman Anab, Toronto Palestinian Families, in person.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, great. Thank you. So I'm here on behalf of over 300 now, members of Toronto Palestinian Families, along with thousands of supporters across the city. I'm here to tell you how deeply disappointed we are in the Human Rights Report. The report says that it tackles racism, bias, and hate in schools, but it doesn't really mention anti-Palestinian racism at all. That's not just a small oversight, it's a major failure, and it leaves Palestinian students families and staff without protection. For years now, Palestinian kids and their families have spoken up about being silenced, marginalized, and targeted in TDSB schools. Since October 2023, scores of our community members have come here to this room to delegate, fearlessly raising the alarm about Palestinian erasure. And when we look at your data and reports, there's nothing. No category, no numbers, no recognition, nothing that anti-Palestinian racism even exists. That means our children's experiences don't count in your system. And if you don't name anti-Palestinian racism, how can you track it, respond to it, or stop it? The report breaks down incidents by race, religion, but it leaves out the very real and specific ways Palestinian students are affected, whether it's being punished for showing pride in their identity, shut out of classroom conversations, or harassed for speaking about their heritage. These are real things happening. And yet, our kids are left to deal with it on their own, with no clear sign that staff even know how to help. We're also very concerned that there's no proper training or policy in place for staff to recognize or respond to anti-Palestinian racism. Without that, staff can't support our kids, and our kids are left vulnerable. So we're asking the board to take some immediate steps. Start naming anti-Palestinian racism in your reports, training, and policies. Add anti-Palestinian racism as a category, reporting category in the portal right away. It's a basic checkbox, and so there's no excuse why it can't be added immediately. Talk directly with Palestinian students, families, and community members to come up with real, meaningful solutions. And per the Patrick Case report, make sure staff get the training they need to understand and address anti-Palestinian racism, so every student feels seen and supported. At the end of the day, our families want the same thing as every other family: for our kids to feel safe, respected, and included in school. This report doesn't get us there. We are asking you to better and to make anti-Palestinian racism a priority in your human rights work. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Any? Trustee Hastings? You don't have to stand for this one.
Dennis Hastings. I would like to have that writing that you've put in. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You've done the report. I'd like to have that brought to in the table there. That's my clarification.
Sorry, so
Just to email your.
To email, yes.
Yeah, email your script to.
Thank you.
The delegation notes to the trustees. If you send it to the same email address, it will be circulated to the trustees. Thank you.
Will do.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your delegation.
Thank you.
Our next delegate is joining virtually, Billy Chang, community member. *6 to unmute. Billy Chang, are you there? *6 to unmute. See that? Billy Chang, press *6.
Oh.
Yeah, we are
Hello,
able to.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead. 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. I'm delegating once again as a TDSB teacher on topic of Palestinian human rights. Since my last delegation 2 months ago, I've been harassed both in person and online. It is an open secret that if you speak up against Israel's oppression of Palestinians, you'll be targeted, harassed, doxxed, defamed, and have your reputation, career, and life ruined. Although I feel incredibly afraid of speaking up, I feel even more afraid of the constant feelings of helplessness and powerlessness every single day. Whether it's violations of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People to the rights to sovereignty and self-determination, or violations to non-discriminatory education, the parallel cannot be clearer. Palestinians are being denied their fundamental human rights in both Palestine and here in Canada. Even though our governments are not following international law and instead are directly complicit in the genocide of the Palestinian people, we must not lose our integrity and humanity to do what is right. And that includes fighting for systemic change here in our board. The annual Human Rights Report falls short in meeting the board's own strategic directions in addressing oppression and inequity by omitting data on anti-Palestinian racism. One of the human rights policy's two key objectives includes ensuring the board meets its positive human rights obligation, including proactively identify, address, and prevent all forms of discrimination, including individual and systemic discrimination. The board must prioritize affirming Palestinian identity and combating APR and its systemic initiatives by adopting Toronto Palestinian families' 6 key demands, specifically the need to publicly affirm that students and staff will not be punished for supporting Palestinian human rights and Israel. The genocide we have been culmination of decades of erasure, silencing, gaslighting, and ignoring the elephant in the room that is Israel-Palestine. Ignorance of this issue, excusing it as being too complicated, too political, or framing it as a centuries-long religious conflict are the reasons why we are at this point in time in history. It is learn and teach about Palestinian identity, culture, and history. Moreover, we must raise the critical consciousness of our students, situating their learning within the social, cultural, historical, and political context and processes within we are living. We are bearing witness to the first ever live stream genocide. This cannot be more apparent given all the information out there. We simply cannot say we did not know. Ignorance, especially willful ignorance, is not an option. Black civil rights activist James Baldwin said that once you know about the injustices of the world, you cannot unknow them. The more you learn, the more your conscience grows. You can either try to suppress it and wrestle with this difficult knowledge, or you can choose to act on it. I'm choosing to act by speaking before you all today, and I urge the board to do so as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Billy Chang, for your delegation. Number 47 is next, virtual Sheila Matar. Not coming? Okay. Number 47 is not here. Number 48, Erin Kucherzak, TDSP parent. Not here as well. We move on to number 49, Shirin Sharankni, TDSP parent, 49, virtual, *6 to unmute. Is unmute by pressing *6, Shirin.
*6 to unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, and turn down the volume on the device that you're listening to the video.
Is
And
it
yeah,
better?
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank
We can
you.
hear you. 3
Thank
minutes.
you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the board for permitting me to address the issue of anti-Palestinian racism in our schools. I'm reaching out to you today after having carefully read the latest TDSB Human Rights Office report. The report concludes by stating that in an increasingly globalized world with significant and complex challenges, promoting human rights is a moral, ethical, and legal imperative. To this end, it stresses the need to continue with efforts to support a climate of understanding and mutual respect for all. These words bring comfort and relief for all parents who, like myself, share these principles and who are rightly worried in this time of increasing uncertainty and fear, a time of increased racism and racial violence. To meet this moral and ethical imperative, however, we need to make sure that all voices are being heard and that all forms of racism are being properly documented and addressed. Over the past year and a half, I have heard of and read about countless incidents of silencing, bullying, and harassing of Palestinian students and staff, and those in solidarity with Palestine happening across schools of the TDSB. These have translated into such experiences as being depicted as a danger, a threat to the community, simply for being a Palestinian, mission for one's history. I have read testimonies of students, staff, and parents sharing that the unspeakable suffering they are currently going through as they witness the mass killing and the forced starvation committed by Israel in Gaza has been ignored or denied within their school environments. I have heard from Palestinians and non-Palestinians wearing a keffiyeh, a symbol of cultural pride and solidarity, that it has been viewed as inherently anti-Semitic. The incidents which point to systemic APR in our schools are echoed by the findings of the case report following the Grassy Narrows Field Troop investigation, which, as you know, concludes with the recommendation
that the ministry urgently implement mandatory training on anti-Semitism and NPR for all TDSB educators. There are other concrete steps that can be taken immediately, and I will name just two here. Other crucial ones have been mentioned by previous delegates. One, releasing the TDSB statement that affirms that students and staff may express their support for Palestinian human rights and or criticize the state of Israel without fearing any forms of reprisal. And two, adding Nakba Day on May 15, which is tomorrow, to the TDSB list of days of significance. It is a day that is at the heart of Palestinians' collective memory, history, and identity, and one that will be acutely painful this year on day 585 of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your delegation. Trustee King has a question. Please stay on, Shireen.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Thank you, through you, Chair, and good evening to Ms. Shirakni. Thank you for your delegation. I just wanted to clarify, you mentioned that you have heard accounts of anti-Palestinian racism that students and staff have experienced. Can you just clarify, are those accounts that you're hearing from the school that you are associated with? Is that through an organization that you're a part of, or are you speaking of some of what we've heard more broadly through media?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. I'm a parent of two children who go to two different TDSB schools, and I have heard from incidents across these two schools. I have also, I'm an active member of my local community here, and are in close, have close connections and ties and relations with neighbors, and whose children do not go to the same schools. And those have been incidents that have been recurrent. Some of those I have mentioned in the delegation that I have recurrently heard, and particularly a point that was made by other delegates about the culture of fear at the moment and the need to, in a way, compartmentalize things that can be said at home and things that should not be said, and debates and conversations, hard conversations sometimes that are necessary, that are not to be had in our school environments in this particularly difficult time.
Thank you, Shireen. That was all for me.
Thank you, Trustee King. I don't see any other question. Thank you very much, Shireen Sharonmi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 50 is not coming. Number 51 is Yasmin Halawa, Leaside High School. Please go ahead.
Hi. Hi. Sorry, can I just... Okay, so I've come to, do I start?
Yeah, you can start, but get a bit closer to the mic, or you can pull it up so that we can hear you.
Sorry.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I've come to you today because I feel that TDSB's action, and more specifically lack of action, is indirectly but effectively dismissing and diminishing the struggles of Palestinian students and staff. I'm speaking in reference to the Human Rights Report, which does not include anti-Palestinian racism as a reporting category in the RBH portal. TDSB's lack of effort in acknowledging Palestinians is unjust and has become honestly exhausting. As a Palestinian, I have had to struggle my whole life witnessing my homeland get destroyed every day and my people's lives with it. But as a Palestinian student in the TDSB, I have had to struggle with the realization that no one who has the power to help seems to care enough to help. I didn't used to expect any sort of acknowledgement of Palestinian discrimination from the TDSB. I believed that our suffering was too controversial to be discussed, and I had accepted that a long time ago because, like I said, the struggle started the day that I was born Palestinian. TDSB didn't acknowledge it until October 7th. Since then, I have experienced and witnessed anti-Palestinian racism more frequently and more shamelessly. I realized that I can no longer accept TDSB's silent and inconsistent support. The silence is what spreads the hatred. The inconsistent support sends a message that we are only worth helping circumstantially. TDSB recently added APR to its combating hate strategy, yet they fail to acknowledge APR as a criteria in the RBH portal, which is meant to be a support system to combat hate. This contradiction leads me to think that Palestinian discrimination is not on TDSB's list of priorities. As a Palestinian, that is the message that the inconsistency of recognition of APR sends me. Regardless of what is and isn't controversial, Palestinian students of TDSB are facing anti-Palestinian racism, and that is a fact that needs to be dealt with. My 11-year-old cousin was told by her own teacher that she cannot say that she's from Palestine because Palestine does not geographically exist. Can you imagine how confusing this is for a child? I wish I had time to express the details to help you begin to understand the heartbreaking impact these incidents have on our identity and security, inside and outside of school. And yet, when reporting these incidents, TDSB Human Rights Report still offers no option to report it for what it is, anti-Palestinian racism. We need you to reassure us that you are here to help when we need it, and not just when it is convenient to you. To do so, I ask you to add APR as a reporting category in the RBH portal and train teachers and staff to recognize and deal with anti-Palestinian racism and anti-Semitism. I understand that you may think my demands are more complicated than I'm leading on, but they're not. I am simply asking you to prioritize equality over reputation. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. Any trustees with questions? Trustee Rajakulasingam, go ahead.
Thank you through the chair. First of all, thank you, Yasmin, for your delegation today and your leadership in speaking up about something that's just so personal to you. So you mentioned about feeling as if your experiences were being silenced and now your need to speak up. Can you please share with us what that difference would mean for students like you? So at one point your experience is being silenced, and now with that acknowledgement, what would it change for you and for students like you?
So do you mean if they were to acknowledge it right now?
Absolutely.
Okay. To me, that would honestly change the level of support and security, because when I am stepping into a school every day, whether I end up facing some type of discrimination that I would report or not, it's the fear of stepping into a school every day knowing that if something does happen, like TDSB's actions have led me to believe that I would not be the priority and I would not be truly considered and protected. And it carries into an association of just like being scared of being a Palestinian student and walking into school, because what if? So if the TDSB was to acknowledge this and show more support, I think it would help me feel a lot more secure in school, and also help other people feel secure enough to go to school, feel safe in it, and to actually use their voice and have these conversations so that there is no silence and there is no taboo, because I think that silence equals misinformation, equals blame, equals hatred.
Thank you, Yasmin. And again, we appreciate your courage for coming in today and speaking up. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rajakulasingam. Any other trustees to speak? Okay, seeing or hearing none, thank you very much, Yasmin, for your delegation. Number 52, Reem Jabi, TDSB employee, joining in person.
Just a correction, I'm a TDSB parent.
TDSB parent, okay, sorry, we'll fix that. Thank you, please go ahead.
Good evening, I'm a Canadian Palestinian mother of 2 TDSB students in Ward 11, and I'm here today to raise a few critical concerns regarding your 13-page human rights report. Last year, I experienced a deeply distressing incident involving a Zionist teacher at my son's middle school. I was verbally abused in a way that made both my son and myself feel unsafe. I reported this as a form of harassment, while some advised me to report it under Islamophobia. The truth is that it did not fit that category or any other category currently recognized by the TDSB. What I experienced was simply clearly anti-Palestinian racism, a form of hate and discrimination that unfortunately is not acknowledged within your reporting system or mentioned anywhere in this report. This lack of recognition is not a small oversight. It has real harmful consequences. It leaves Palestinians, families without an appropriate avenue to report and address this discrimination they face. It also sends a damaging message that our experiences don't matter or don't exist. My second concern relates to the biased and unprofessional manner my feedback was received regarding an unvetted document shared by the Jewish Heritage Committee in our schools for Jewish Heritage Month. The original version of this document contained false and misleading content that erased Palestinian identity and perpetuated APR. For example, the word Palestine was conspicuously avoided, replaced by vague language and euphemisms. The document also promoted the celebration of Israeli Independence Day, which for Palestinians marks Nakba Day, also known as the Palestinian Catastrophe, an annual day of mourning and remembrance which comprised the destruction of Palestinian society and homeland in 1948. This day is tomorrow, May 15th. I raised these concerns in good faith only to be met with dismissiveness. Although some of the false statements were later removed, I was still told I had to accept the inclusion of Israeli-Canadian perspectives. Perspectives that, in this context, erase and invalidate the lived experiences of Palestinians. Why are Palestinian students expected to accept a one-sided narrative at the expense of their own truth and history? Why isn't Nakba Day recognized in our schools? The erasure of our identity and experiences from school spaces is not just hurtful, it is unacceptable. I'm calling on the board to take meaningful, concrete action. I urge you to officially recognize anti-Palestinian racism as a distinct category of hate and racism within your incident reporting system. Implement APR training for TDSB staff at all levels to ensure our concerns are understood and addressed with fairness, empathy, and without bias. Palestinian students and families deserve to be treated with the same humanity, respect, and dignity as everyone else. Our safety, emotional well-being, and identity should not be up for debate. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I don't see, just one second. I think Trustee Dawson has a question, please. Go ahead, Trustee Dawson.
Thank you. Through the chair, thank you so much for your delegation. And for sharing your story. You mentioned an incident with an educator, and I wondered if that incident, to your knowledge, was addressed with the principal, and if so, how it was addressed.
It was, and fortunately, I was supported during that incident. But as I said, I reported it as harassment, and I did not mention at all anti-Palestinian racism, and I did not include it in my report or in my complaint.
Okay, and you didn't include it in your complaint because you were asked to not include it, or was that a personal?
That was a personal, and that is part of my, I think, my fear of, I don't want to conflate the experience, and I didn't want it to be dismissed, basically, because of addressing the Palestinian issue, part of it, basically. I just reported it as a kind of harassment.
Okay, and sorry, just to clarify, why did you decide to report it as solely harassment versus anti-Palestinian racism?
Again, it's probably part of our fears that we've been built into us, not to complain, just disregard what happens, not to cause any trouble, not to cause any, problems with the surroundings. And unfortunately, this is a built-in feeling that we have, and we're trying to get rid of. And this report basically doesn't help with these feelings when they are not acknowledged.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. And I'm very sorry to hear that
No
that
problem.
is a feeling that is embedded inside you. And I hope that we can better support our Palestinian families.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Trustee Dawson. Any other question, Trustee Dawson? No,
No, that's everything for me.
just 1 second. Trustee King?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Ms. Jabi, I'm just curious, a follow-up on the previous question. You mentioned the silencing that becomes internalized and ingrained in a bit of a pattern of behavior. And I'm just wondering if APR were added to the portal such that it would be an option to check with a complaint, do you feel that that would be enough, or do you feel that there is further support that would be needed to help encourage folks to use that mechanism given that internalization that you've described?
So first of all, of course, having it there on the list is validation to our experiences and whatever feeling that we had, whether as a parent or a student. So the recognition of having it on the report or in the portal is very important. But you need to get the support also from the staff. It's not just having ticket as an option. It has to come with the training and the support and the recognition and the right training for the TDSP staff, basically, on how to handle these incidents with the students and parents. So yes, it will help, but it's not just enough. To have it also on the portal is what comes after.
Thank you, through the chair. And just as a follow-up, how important do you think it is that folks understand that that support is available at the forefront when they have the option to a complaint versus seeing it as a response?
Sorry, again.
Do you feel that there's an importance that folks understand the level of support that's available that comes with having the checkbox available up front? Do you think that that's an important component to getting folks to use that mechanism? Yeah.
Yes, of course, of course.
Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee King. I don't see any other questions, so thank you very much, Reem Jabi, for your delegation. Next is delegate number 53, virtually joining us, Michelle Stock, Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. Delegate number 53, Michelle Stock, are you online? Please press *6 to unmute. No? Not here. We'll move on to the next delegate, Basal Abdul Khader, in person, community member.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
My last name is spelled Q-A-D-E-R, not A-R.
Q-A?
D-E-R,
Okay.
not D-A-R.
Okay, so it's correct on my list, but it needs to be correct on the screen. Thank you.
I can start?
You can go ahead, yeah.
Palestinians, like myself, are no strangers to erasure, no strangers to having our experiences minimized or outright dismissed. We've had this done to us for decades and have to endure the most vile slander with composure, dignity, and grace. And if this report were to have been published at any other moment in time, not mentioning Palestinians or anti-Palestinian racism, though egregious, would be unsurprising. That alone is a tragedy. But the audacity of publishing a report on human rights while proudly trumpeting that it's in the spirit of the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples at a time when the UN itself is saying, along with every major global human rights organization, that a genocide is being perpetrated against Palestinians, and still electing to not even once say the word Palestinian in the report, is a shameful new low. Whether it was due to incompetence, malice, or some combination of both, the erasure of Palestinians from a human rights report when 1 million of their children are dying of starvation or by bombardment is so completely divorced from reality that tone deaf doesn't even begin to describe this decision. The results of this report are frankly as meaningless as its data collection methodologies are flawed. This report only aggregates reported incidents of anti-Semitism and other forms of racism, not the ones that have been investigated and then found to have any merit to them. Simply labeling something as racist doesn't make it so, but the impact of smearing someone as a racist or as an anti-Semite, regardless of whether there's any basis to the accusation, those persist and reverberate long after. And the careless way in which the term is loosely applied to anything remotely positive about Palestine not only dilutes and devalues real anti-Semitism, it causes real harm to the Palestinian students and staff of our community. Harm for committing the grave crime of asserting their identity, for saying they're Palestinian in any tone louder than a whisper, for wanting to be acknowledged as Palestinians without qualification, justification, or apology, for expressing sadness, horror, or dare I say outrage at the daily massacres of their family and friends in Palestine, for protesting and grieving the attempted destruction and erasure of their people, for wearing a kufiya or watermelon pin. None of these are instances of anti-Semitism. In fact, the claim that celebrating or promoting Palestinian culture and heritage poses a threat or causes harm to another group is itself an incredibly racist assertion. You would be hard-pressed to find another marginalized group who has to navigate these impossible standards, who must at once repent for their identity as they ask for consideration. As a teacher, I've experienced and seen firsthand the harm caused to Palestinian members of our community resulting from the denial and suppression of their experience. It's unacceptable and more needs to be done to protect them, the least of which is to include anti-Palestinian racism as a reporting category to select on the RBH portal. I urge you not to indulge the racist narrative that Palestinian safety and identity must come at the expense of other communities. I urge you to consider my points and not entertain these shoddy results so that you may take better care of all students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any questions from trustees, so thank you very much for your delegation. We have number 47 that's come on, so we'll go back to number 47, Sheila Matar, community member, joining virtual. Sheila Matar, are you able to press *6 and unmute yourself?
She's left.
Gone? Okay. All right, I think that's the end of all the delegations. If I just want to confirm with governance, that's the end of all the delegations. Okay, so thank you to all the delegates who came and expressed your concerns, views, suggestions, and gave us input. Greatly appreciate all the time you've taken, all the effort you put into inform our decision-making processes. We are going to take a short break, about half an hour. We'll be back at 7:40, at which time the private session will begin first, and then we will go into the public session after. So trustees, we will recess till 7:40.